Hello, hello. I have arrived. Alright, so, Wednesday. It's time for Ni no Kuni again. Possibly for the last time this playthrough. Who knows? I do still kind of want to do some more of the Coliseum. Maybe play some more of the mini games in that there undead casino place. But for the main playthrough, at least, this will be the conclusion. And whatever else will be, well, I don't know that if this will definitively be the conclusion yet, but assuming it is, anything else will be sort of secondary that I may or may not do after we are concluded here. So, let's see. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. But yes, let's see. So, schedule. So tonight, playing Ni no Kuni as discussed. Tomorrow, tomorrow we're playing some more Noita. Friday, if we haven't beaten Ni no Kuni yet, we're going to be playing it. And if we have beaten Ni no Kuni, I'm going to be taking a break. But yes. So again, let's see. Well, I'll go over the times real quick. Tomorrow, we'll be streaming at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. And on Friday, assuming that there is a stream on Friday, we'll be streaming at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Nope, it's daylight time. I just remembered, it's daylight time. I think, last time I checked. Yeah, it should be daylight time. I don't know why I always say standard or daylight when I can't just say central. It is what it is, though, I suppose. You know, in the future, we don't have daylight savings time. That's my excuse. We also don't have time zones. But that's another matter. Anyway, where was I? Somewhere, I'm sure. Yeah. So, 7:30 tomorrow, 10 a.m. Friday if there's a stream Friday, which there is not guaranteed to be. As discussed earlier, once we have beaten Ni no Kuni, we're going to scale back streaming a little bit so that I can work on, sort of secondary aspects, making more assets, possibly some new background music, that sort of thing. Maybe do a little bit more sort of planning. I've been very haphazard with my streaming, I've been using placeholder assets for like about half a year at this point, over half a year at this point. Like for basically everything except my model. Which is not a terrible thing, but I'd like it at least if my placeholder assets were a little bit nicer. So, I'm going to endeavor to make them so, essentially, is what I'm getting at. And so we'll see sort of, we'll see. Yeah, I don't know exactly how long this is going to take, necessarily. A while. They're not going to be, well, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I'm going to work on it, and it will be what it will be. So yes. Yeah, so during that time, while we're working on things, and probably for a period of time after that time, we're going to be playing some shorter games. Because yeah, we've been at this for 4-ish months this year, Ni no Kuni. It's been a while. Yeah, I don't know, part of it is due to there having been a couple of like week or so long breaks from playing the game. Or, streaming in general, I guess, more so. But yeah, this is, the middle of the playthrough was, marked by a lot of delays. Well, at various points throughout the middle, but, yeah, a lot of delays, so it feels like it's been longer than it has. Yeah, it's been more weeks since we started than that we've been playing, essentially. So, anyway, we're gonna play some shorter games. Not to say that I haven't enjoyed playing this quite long game, but we're gonna play some shorter games for a little bit, introduce a little bit more variety into the stream, try some new things out perhaps, and yeah, we'll see how that treats us. Yeah, it'll be an opportunity to experiment a little bit, because I've wanted to try some stuff, but I don't have a whole lot of time to plan stuff outside of streaming. I could probably make some time, but yeah, right now, if I want to make some more time, then the main thing that I'm going to have to do that is I'm going to have to stream a bit less. So, you know, for at least a couple of weeks, I'm not 100% sure how long. Yeah, for at least a couple of weeks. Let's say 2 months now. And that's a completely wild, absolutely out of nowhere number. So it probably doesn't mean anything, but we'll say 2 weeks, or 2 weeks, 2 months rather. And how I feel at how long it will be will depend on how I feel. But let's see. Yeah, we're gonna scale back streaming a little bit. Probably do 3 streams a week, possibly 2 streams a week. But yeah, we're going to be keeping up the collab series with Altariana, Sheppy Sheps, and Judo Kami. We've been playing the Borderlands series. We are just about to do some DLC in Borderlands 2, and yeah, I think we're specifically going to do Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep, and I think that's about it. Yeah, so we're going to do that. Then we're going to move on to pre-sequel. We discussed the idea also of doing Commander Lilith in the fight for Sanctuary, I think, but I don't know if we ever settled on that necessarily. And so yeah, so after that, we'll probably be moving on to Borderlands 3 immediately, and after that, I have absolutely no idea. Maybe some more Terraria. We've played Terraria together and we've enjoyed it. But yeah, a lot of options. But that is for another day, I suppose. So let's see. Yeah, we talked about the schedule. Next week's schedule is going to depend a lot. If we don't do Ni no Kuni, or if we don't beat Ni no Kuni this week, I'm sure it'll be done midway through next week. I'm sure. I don't think they can pull out many more twists at this point. I don't think they can pull out any more. Yeah, I don't see how the scope of the game can expand much further. It could. I'm sure it could. I don't think it will, but it could, I suppose. What was I saying? Yeah. So, we should be done with Ni no Kuni very soon, possibly tonight. So yeah, no stream Friday if we complete Ni no Kuni today. Ni no Kuni on Friday if we complete it, if we don't complete it today. And yeah, so I have no idea what we're going to play once we have beaten Ni no Kuni. I guess I'll use some of my time on Friday if we don't play on Friday to decide that. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to, you know, the next game I play, the very next game I play after Ni no Kuni is going to be sort of our next series. Oh yeah, I still need to get back to Hollow Knight. I want to do a little bit more Wonder Wickets. There's a lot of games that I'm interested in right now. There's a lot of games that I'm interested in, and now that I think about it, I'm thinking about it a lot more. But we'll get to that. Yeah, I'll talk about that more later, I guess. Yeah, next week is going to... There's a lot of opportunities for what next week is going to look like, but probably it's going to look kind of short as far as my streaming weeks go. So, yeah, I think we're more or less good to go. I always feel like I'm forgetting something whenever we reach the end of one of these, and there's a good chance that I am. But we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to move on, because we've got a White Witch to confront. So let's not waste any more time. Oh! I always forget to do that. Or I forget to do that recently. I've been forgetting to do that. Close that little menu. Oh. Oh, okay, yeah, we do have game audio. I don't know, I guess not always, but recently I've been, yeah, I've got like my, my desktop audio muted. And I always look over and I see, oh, there's a mute icon. And I think, oh, I must have forgotten to unmute the game. But I almost never, like, mute the console, because don't really have much reason to ever. So I don't know why I always assume that, oh, I must have muted the game, the console, and not realized it, because I don't know that I've ever done that. At least not when I've been playing on PS4. I did that... Actually, I'm still not 100% sure what the nature of the problem was, but I remember we did not have audio for a significant portion of a Monster Hunter Rise stream a ways back. Alright, we've got some more advanced robots, it seems like. These fellas are weak to water, I believe.
To battle then.
If I remember correctly. No, actually. They are not particularly... They don't have strong feelings about water, it would seem. One way or another. Ooh, they do hit hard, though. They're not super tough, at least. Yeah, the Magimechs seemed a lot more dangerous, perhaps, than they actually were. Let's see, are we going to have any others? Yep, we are. They're mostly dangerous, I imagine, in that they're kind of hard to evade. I feel like, if they have any major threat behind them. Just the fact that you kind of have to fight them, whether or not you want to. Oh. Well, I say that, but Esther's, like, unconscious right now, so maybe they are more threatening than I had been anticipating. That's no good. I had to really... Oh! Oh, would you look at that? I'd really appreciate it if you'd, like, stop targeting me. Alright, everybody destroy this Magimech. Yeah, I do have to wonder, what exactly happened there that caused Esther's HP to go down so dramatically, so quickly? Like, it wasn't... Surely Ray Gun didn't do all that much damage, considering how little damage it did to Mr. Smite. Yeah? Well, I guess I don't know what familiar Esther had at the precise minute she got lasered on. So it could have been something else. And it looks like that way is the way that we have to go. Oh, we're finally facing whatever Jules is, I suppose.
Come on, you guys! Marcus-san, if I may.
Incidentally, what's... Oh, well, Jules... Oh yeah, Jules isn't weak to anything. We've established that already. Which is precisely why we gave him that armor. It gives him resistances. Alright, this is kind of rough. Oh, this is very rough. Ow. Alright, I really don't recommend fighting with, I really don't recommend trying to attack with your, with our fishy friend Napoleon there. Don't like that. Alright, so this is going to be kind of bad. Let's back up. Alright, here we go. Oh, one of them's down already. Nice. Ah, and so is the Sovereign going to be in just a minute here. Alright, okay. The battles, as always, are pretty tough in these parts. But nothing that we can't handle. I guess those are different creatures. Like, they aren't the specific same type of creature that our friend and familiar Jules is. So they could have different weaknesses, or indeed have weaknesses where Jules doesn't. You're an advanced 2E, I do believe. A sharpshooter. Alright, let's lead with Howling Blizzard? That sounds good. I don't know that this is necessarily going to do or mean anything, but we can do it anyway. Alright, none of them are weak to water, at least. So we know that. We have some more tactical information. Alright. Mr. Smite is getting hit very... Ooh, nice. I don't know that we care to have a Sinister Sovereign on side, but we might as well recruit her. Jumbo starter up. That somebody needs that, I think. Cindy? Not bad. Susan. Sandra. Samantha. I don't know, I feel like Susan sounds like a very mundane name, and it's kind of funny to me. Whoops. Behold, the Sinister Sovereign, Susan. Let's see, nothing down this way it looks like, except for another Sinister Sovereign.
And so, to battle!
Alright, let's throw out some wide-ranging fire damage. Oops. Unleash. There we go. I was wondering why it wasn't appearing. And the creature that I was wondering, or was expecting to be weak to fire damage, has now been knocked out, so this is maybe not strictly necessary. Especially since definitely none of these creatures are weak to fire damage, it would seem now. Yeah, it's been a good long while since we've consistently taken damage faster than we could recover it with glims.
You did it!
Yeah, we've definitely got a few familiars on hand who need a Jumbo Star Drop to metamorphose. The question is whether we can spare the time to like level them up at this point. Because I'm not sure that the answer is yes. No, I feel like it'd take too long for their stats to get backed up to a acceptable level. Whoops. Yeah, we'll just have to live with the fact that some of the members of our party are not quite at their full potential. It shouldn't be strictly necessary for them to be such, anyway, so it should be fine. There is no lock that we cannot unlock. Let's see, what is this? Ooh. That's pretty good. Bones of a mighty dragon whose ancient corpse is now in a well-known mountain range. Yeah, that's definitely better than the Fiend's Fang. We want the Fiend's... Actually, no, we want more stamina on our familiars. I'm assuming that applies to all of your familiars if you put it on a human party member, and not just applies specifically to the familiar that you put it on if you put it on a familiar. But yeah, incidentally, I've been thinking about it. And yeah, the Imperial Scepter and Mornstar are very similar, except in their the stat that they buff is sort of like inverted. And also Mornstar yeah, doesn't yeah, the total amount of stat points that it provides are reduced by 3, it looks like, or 5. So 5. Yeah, 2 and 1 stat. Or no, actually, yeah, it's 7. Yeah, 7 less on one and 2 less on the other, so 9. But yeah. So the Imperial Scepter does provide better stats, broadly speaking, than Mornstar. But I don't know that we want Marcus-san to be, like, hitting things. I don't know that we want him to be auto-attacking. That kind of feels like a failure state. Granted. No, even Jules has better auto-attacks than he does. I was about to say he does have higher attack than all of his familiars, but that's absolutely not true. So yeah, we will leave Marcus-san with the higher magic attack, because I feel like that's more valuable to him at the very least. And so incidentally, the Griffin's Teeth, which only provide attack, are not really particularly beneficial to him, I don't think. Maybe? No? Esther like auto attacking is also kind of a failure state. I don't know that we're gonna field Swain again before the end here, so we're not gonna worry too much about his equipment. Beam Man.
And so to battle.
Yeah, let's hit him with Even Star, see how much damage that does. Pretty good damage. Oh, very good damage, actually. Oh, well. Some of that very good damage is about to be undone, but we can redo it. We can also get rid of the Beam Man. Alright, all problems dealt with. Very nice.
We did it!
Yeah, I do kind of wonder where we're going to get that last, or where we would have. Again, I'm probably not going to go back and do, like, much in the way of, like, equipment or, well, ideally any. I don't want to do any equipment or material, I should say, grinding. And I should have turned around. I knew that he was coming after me, but
Watch this!
I've got no excuse. I just didn't think. All right, so we've got some people who are asleep, which is not the worst thing in the world. Esther got hit kind of hard there, but she should be fine, I imagine. Oh, these folk are both resistant to dark. I guess it makes sense because they can do light. I knew at least one of them could do light damage. Alright, thank you, Drippy. Drippy always with the clutch saves. I would have appreciated that if you'd waited just a little bit longer so that we could get Esther with that heal as well. But I'll take what I can get. Yeah, now it seems like Napoleon isn't queuing up a Upsy Daisy, which is... and is queuing up auto attacks, which is definitely not what I want. There we go. A little bit late, but
A famous victory.
the sentiment is appreciated, I'm sure. Yeah, don't know how close we are to our next boss encounter. Nor indeed if there is going to be another boss encounter before the final boss encounter, necessarily. I should definitely check what these folks are weak to. I mean, we've established that it's not We've established that it's not dark. It ain't dark. So let's just sort of start throwing things out there and seeing what sticks. Not that, in theory, it matters, necessarily, I suppose. Ah, okay, at least one of them's weak to Storm. I think that was the Elegant Tiger. Don't appreciate that. Oh man, Anstonio just took like multiple digits of multiple damage. Not multiple digits, but like more than one damage in a single attack. That's how you know that we're really fighting the big enemies. He took a whole 5 damage from that attack. Can you believe it? Very nice.
Nice work.
I don't know. Part of me wants to believe that the game wouldn't... Well, I don't know. How long has Jules been metamorphable? Marcuson's been part of our party. Well, actually, no. He hasn't been in the party for very long. Because, yeah, he wasn't with us when we fought the Dark Djinn.
We have no choice but to fight.
Did we figure out what these guys are weak to? I'm not sure. I feel like, one way or another, I'm pretty sure it wasn't Storm, but we're gonna hit him with some Storm damage anyway. Yeah, absolutely not. The Sharpshooter is in fact resistant to Storm, which makes sense because it's a bird. I suppose birds aren't necessarily more resistant to wind than any other animal, but they are more wind related than most other animals, broadly speaking.
A famous victory!
All-seeing eye. Interesting. I feel like that's something we've picked up before. Got another beam man over there. Alright, it looks like... Yeah, that way is the way that we need to go. So clearly, we can't go that way just yet. Did we establish what beam men are weak to?
To battle then.
But yeah, the usual trend with mechanical enemies would imply that they are weak to Storm. But it's also, like, electrical? Like, it's sparking? So I'm assuming that it's probably not. Alright, Sharpshooter down. Oh dear. Well, we're confused, but we're attacking an enemy, so that's nice. I don't know. I'm really not sure what that Astral Lynx was targeting. Because, like, it didn't heal itself. And, like, there was a... Like, it didn't have any enemies or any allies still in the fight. That was odd. Alright, nothing over here, it looks like.
Stay calm now.
I'm sure we know what the Elegant Tiger is, You know what, no, we're gonna use you. We're gonna throw some rocks. Oh, I don't like this. I didn't see what the other one was queuing up for its ability either, and now we're asleep. And now we're awake. And now we're gonna get hit by a lot of thunder damage. Or sorry, storm damage, rather.
If I may.
You may. Well, I don't like this. Maybe we should put Upsy Daisy on Anstonio, now that I think about it. I was reluctant to do that earlier. I see you, kids. I leave a like. Hello, Pick. Good to see you. I see a Pick. I leave a... It's good to see you. Yes, how are you doing on this fine day? Oh dear. Well, you're doing better than Napoleon's about to be doing, I can tell you that much. This is rather troublesome. Ooh. Oh, this is very bad. Alright, so I don't think Esther's going to be super effective on her own. So let's get Marcus-on up.
Splendid timing.
And with Marcus-on up, let's get Alright, everyone like defend a lot. Like very... Alright, what can we... Can we like... get them to stop? I didn't, you know, do anywhere near what I was hoping for, but... Oh dear. Alright, alright. Oh no. We have a lot more money than I thought I did, actually, if that's like 5% of it. I guess it's not all that much. Oh no, we lose our map completion. Oh, that's terrible. Hold on, wait. Oh yeah, well, we respawn back at the point where we saved, of course. Hold on. No, okay, yeah. Because yeah, I definitely haven't saved since... I didn't save since giving Marcus-on his equipment. So yeah, so... Continuing like that does have a benefit, in that it lets you keep your stuff. Like everything you've earned since the being defeated. So yes, we do keep our map completion, in fact. I should really figure out what enemies here are weak to.
We have no choice but to fight.
Oh man, now we really need to advance Thumbo, since we see that what he could be. You know what? Let's enlighten. I have reached enlightenment, and also I have been defeated immediately. Just absolutely knocked to the ground. Oh, that was great. Beautiful. Anyway.
I shall not fail.
Like I was saying, given how easy it is to be horribly defeated here, I think maybe we should put Upsy Daisy on Anstonio, since he can use it, and is very tough, and thus can presumably survive the using of it, which is a trait that not everyone possesses, it seems. And Jules is fast. Oh dear. Alright, good.
Nice work.
This is some rough business, I must say. Oh, right. Anstonio. Right. Evil Embrace, you who water bomb. Yeah. You can't learn Evil Embrace, can you? No. To all enemies. Physical damage to all enemies. There are more enemies. Well, actually, no. There's a lot of enemies here that resist light. There may be more enemies who resist physical in general than enemies who resist light, but this is not necessarily the case here. Oh, we even count. Oh, we've completed a lot of the Wizard's Companion, it seems like. I didn't mean to check that, but we're doing a lot better on completion than I expected. I still don't, intend to come back and do more completion, like I do with Hollow Knight, but, So you're not weak to anything, you're weak to fire, you're weak to storm, nothing, 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 storm. Oh, interesting. It uses storm magic, but it's resistant, or it's weak to storm magic. Interesting. Fire, dark. It's weird to me that this is a cold creature. It's associated with cold at least, but it's not weak to fire. Storm, water, nothing, 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 nothing. Physical, interestingly enough. Nothing. Water, water. Oh, nothing. I guess that makes sense, given what we've seen of them. And Gallus, of course, is not weak to anything. I'm sure he seemed to have been weak to something during his boss fight, but I guess not. I guess I don't know. I thought I saw red numbers, but that might have just been him dealing damage to one of us, I suppose. So yeah, so it seems that the order of the day is actually storm and fire, broadly speaking. That's not necessarily a pattern that's going to hold indefinitely, but it's true for right now. No, I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it to metamorphose our familiars at this point. Yes. I thought we swapped this in at some point. I guess maybe we just thought about it. Probably I didn't swap it in because I wanted, Upsy Daisy. Or maybe I swapped it out for Upsy Daisy. We really don't use Claptrap like at all, actually. So I guess maybe we'll do a little bit of, well, no, we're not going to worry about it. It's going to be fine. It's fine. I say, talking myself out of doing something. This is another new room. Is this the conclusion of where we need to go? Presumably, which means that we can't go here yet. Or rather, this is the conclusion of this particular section of the Ivory Tower. Okay, we should attack you ahead of time. Alright, I don't think any of these birds are weak to anything. The sharpshooters may be weak to fire? Maybe? But they're definitely not weak to anything else, and they're resistant to a few other things. So we're going to lead with fire and sort of see where that leaves us, essentially. I should maybe use like some somewhat faster spells on Oliver. Just to end fights a little bit quicker. Of course, that spell didn't do anything at all. Sadly. Didn't have enough time to defend against that. I saw it coming for just a little bit, but I did not act upon it. Man, I should, like, defend. I feel like I've forgotten everything that I learned in the past few times playing this game. Because we keep getting horribly afflicted by these cruel enemies. Alright, that is that. Do we know what these are weak to? I'm sure we found out, but I just didn't pay attention.
Watch this.
The steam or the beam man is at least weak to storm, so we can do a little bit of that. And he can do a little bit of that to us as well. And again, I should probably be making an effort to not take damage from all of these powerful spells. Oh, also, I should have made sure that we cleared out the Toko Hold, given their rarity, and the fact that they presumably, like the rest of their kin, give a lot of experience when defeated. So hopefully we've gotten some of that. Ah, okay, we got it anyway, so it's no big worry. Yeah, if we only encountered a few more Toko Holds, we maybe could be at a level where some of... You know what? You know what? Yeah, we'll see. Well, there's no point really in just doing it for Sid, because we don't use Sid. We don't use Sid, simply put. Jules, I suppose, is... We've got Percival, who fulfills a similar role. Much worse magic attack, though. But we're gonna risk it. It's fine. So I guess we get to decide whether we want to be resistant to dark or resistant to light. I feel like resistant to light's probably better. Angelics or medics? I feel like resistance to light is better. I feel like we're encountering... Yeah, I guess our stats aren't going to go down all that much. So I guess... Yeah, I've been worrying too much. I'm taking this game a bit too seriously, maybe. Nice. Yes, and now we can metamorphose precisely no more of our familiars. Or at least no more of the familiars that we have on hand. And we've gained, basically nothing for this. We've lost stats and we haven't gained... we gained another slot, but we can't do anything with it immediately. Alright, the mites are weak to fire. The beam man isn't. But I'll gladly take the opportunity to take some enemies out of the battle faster. Even if it means the other one... Well, you know, we can't do super effective damage to all enemies with every attack every time, necessarily. That is simply the way of things. But we can take that one out in one punch. Take that one out in another punch. I saw that again. I did not react to it. That was foolish on my part. We have no need of you, Mermite, but I suppose we might as well. If we can beat the Beam Man fast enough, we will recruit you. Or, you know what?
I'll give it you.
I don't know if...
Are you ready?
Okay, there we go. Right. You know, I was never sure if the, doing that paused the timer on them leaving. I don't know if this means anything, or if we particularly care to have another mite on blowpipe. Okay, we can make a cool new piece of equipment for Swain that we may not use, but we can do it. Mervyn? You know what, we'll call you Mr. Fight. We got Mr. Smite and Mr. Fight. They're long-lost brothers. Oops. There we go. And of course, we've got to write it in... I think I wrote it in, like... I think I wrote it in Hiragana. I should have written it in katakana, I guess. Let's see. This isn't great. This isn't a great transliteration of, Actually, I think that's more accurate. Baito. Still not great, I don't think, but I think it's about the closest we can get. Alright, here's our next challenge. Can I... there we go. Can I remember which katakana character corresponds to the sound to? And I did. So now I've got Mr. Smite and Mr. Fight. And there's only one more place to go. Of course, we don't have Mr. Fight on hand, of course. But you know, we have Mr. Fight in our hearts. What's this way? Nothing. Oh, we've got you. I don't think you're weak to anything. I think we established that you're not weak to anything. Which means that we'll just have to hit you very hard with normal attacks. Oh dear. And we'll also have to not get hit very hard with, oh, okay, ray gun. I guess it looks a lot more likely now that, Esther just got hit by a ray gun and just kind of got melted by it. Because yeah, it hits hard. It does 100 damage to Anstonia, which I think is like unprecedented. I don't think we've ever seen like triple-digit damage on Anstonia. So yeah, as it turns out, that's just kind of a strong move, actually.
You did it!
Oops. Are we gonna get attacked by another Magimech? Yes, we are. I'm ready for you.
We can do this!
You know what, I guess we do have, like, spells. We can hit you with spells, even if we don't have any spells that you're, like, weak to. Arrow of Light's relatively fast and relatively high damaging. I think Pulse might be a little bit better, actually. Pulse is a little bit faster. It doesn't... Oh. I don't know. What am I doing? I should have guarded against that. So now we're all going to take not insignificant damage. Thank you, thank you. Oh, that's the edge of our fighting area, it seems. Alright, who are you healing? I should see who you're healing before I heal anyone. Okay. Alright, everyone continue guarding. Oh dear. Alright, everyone hit the thing, please. Thank you. I would like that glim, please. Thank you. Ooh. What is both of that being? Yeah, it seems to me like the amount that you get healed for when you hit things with this sword that heals you when you hit things with it is dependent, at least in part on how much damage you do with your attack. And yeah, Jules has definitely not really caught up to where I was hoping he would be at this point. So maybe that was a bad idea. I saw you there. Think you're being sneaky? What are you weak to, I wonder, if indeed you're weak to anything?
To battle then.
I suppose we do still have plenty of time for, you're probably weak, resistant to light, I think. You look like the type of creature that would be resistant to light, but you're not, actually. Somebody just took super effective damage from something. Was that you? Are you... You're weak to water? Hold on, because I was sure that... oh, right. Puncher, I guess, does have water damage. I was thinking it must be weak to physical damage if Puncher did, you know, super effective damage to it, but no. They are weak to, or Puncher has water, and we established that it is weak to water, and we saw it take extra damage from water. So it seems that the White Witch has managed to protect her mechs from ESD, but their waterproofing has been compromised somewhat. But that's no issue to me, because I will certainly... You know what? Let's ward. I feel like we're gonna save ourselves a lot of grief, and moreover, a lot of MP, if we just take less damage from magic. So let's take less damage from magic. Oh, right. Rock Ball. So it doesn't... You don't really feel the difference with that one. It definitely still feels like you took a lot of damage from magic on that, in that particular instance. But we took less than we... Nope. Try that again. We took less than we would have otherwise, I suppose. Oh dear. Oh dear. Nope. Alright, this is bad. It could be worse, but it's not great. This is very, very bad. Alright, I'd really appreciate it if you would cease. This is not going to... Yeah, this is not probably the most efficient use of an MP, but I really kind of want you to not trouble me anymore. So I'm willing to go along with that. And it seems like I canceled out of Upsy Daisy with that, unfortunately. It is really a shame that, like, you can just sort of prevent your allies from, like, doing things by casting certain spells. You can do the same for your enemies, I guess, which adds a certain tactical depth to it. But it's still annoying more often than not, I feel like. I don't have a lot of complaints with this game. I've enjoyed it a lot as we've been playing it. I will say I'm not huge on the battle system in general. Yeah, even after all this time, it's still, I don't know, I'm just not, what does that do, I wonder? Its allies have been buffed in some way, but I cannot, for the life of me, figure out what that might be. Alright, now destroy the Sinister Sovereign, because otherwise she will destroy us. She's very good at doing that. Alright, we're getting better bit by bit. The fights are dragging a bit less. They're less nerve-wracking. Jules is almost where he was. Is there anything useful over here? It seems like no, but we might as well check. I really would like another save point. I really would. Yeah, given that it's happening to Drippy too, I guess there must just be places along this wall. All of these, like, walls that you sidle along. There must be just places where you just go slower. Alright, I'm gonna take a sip real quick. God, I forgot to unscrew the bottle before the stream started. Sip. Oh, something's found us. Oh, there we are.
Come on!
Now, I guess one way or the other, we need to take down the Toko Gold, so we'll do that. Because yeah, this might just be what we need to get Jules back up to speed. And for that purpose, I think, let's see what kind of damage we can do with Everblade, I suppose. We haven't used this in any meaningful capacity before. Not to say that we haven't used it, but we've just not done much with it. Esther's down again. We'll do something about that in a little bit, I'm sure. If the Toko doesn't put us to sleep. Alright, the Toko put us to sleep. I'd really appreciate it if you would all, like, calm down just a little bit. Not to rain on your parade. I'd really appreciate it if you didn't run away, Toko.
I'll do my best.
It still feels weird to me that Ray of Light doesn't, like, do light damage. It definitely feels like the, it's a bit like, you get it early enough on in the game that it'd be weird if it did light damage. But with a name like that, it's also kind of weird that it doesn't.
To battle then.
Yeah, it's interesting, sort of the, where you do and don't see Toko variants in the game. Because, yeah, you've got, like, just the Tokos that live on just a random island. And then you've got the Tokos, which live over near Perdita. Then you have the Golds, which live here. And seemingly only here. At least I've only encountered them here.
Nice work.
Very good, very good. You're gonna fight me?
And so, to battle.
The sharpshooters are really kind of a pain. But they can't stop me from casting Even Star. So I'll take some solace in that. Oh, I probably shouldn't have cast Even Star now that I look at it, because it's resistant. But we'll do a different move. Volcanic Roar? Why not? Alright, no more out of you, Sharpshooter. Thank you very much. Your input was
Our
appreciated.
bravery is justly
Sorcerer's Soul. Interesting. Is that a sword? Well, if it is, I can't equip it on Oliver. What is that, I wonder? Not armor. We've already established that it's not a sword. Is it a spear? No. What did we just pick up? It is a dagger, apparently. And it increases magic power. So I guess I just, yeah. Oh, yeah. I just wasn't expecting it to be there. I was right. They're listed by inventory order, not by the order that you got them in. And your inventory is listed by, you know, the order that there are spaces, not the order that you got things in. I do kind of prefer the Radiant Blade. But Jules does have very strong, or at least has the potential for some pretty good magic. So we'll consider it, I suppose. Alright, let's do some quick homework and figure out what these sharpshooters are weak to, if anything. Nope. Nope. Oh, we got it right that time, but I was so used to getting it wrong that I lost my nerve. Yeah, nothing. Oh, they're weak to darkness. We should have been using Even Star. Where's the sharpshooter? Weak to nothing. Alright, cool. Can we just avoid you? I kind of want to just avoid you. Alright, you won't avoid us, though. Adjusting the posture just a little bit. I think basically everything here is resistant to dark, so let's not use dark. Instead, let's just roar. I like how they just get into position to ready themselves to take that attack. Let's take out the medics first. Let's not get taken out in return, ideally. Alright, Oliver will get knocked out if he gets hit one more time, and he got hit one more time, so he got knocked out. I should have taken out the sharpshooter. Actually, no, it worked out fine. Alright. Very good.
a famous victory!
Jules, I must say, is doing pretty okay on stats, so maybe I shouldn't have been so worried. If I had been a bit less reluctant to metamorphose him, he'd be doing even better on stats, actually. And I wasn't paying attention.
We can do this.
I knew that enemy was there. I was pretty confident that they would try to go after me. I guess I just sort of didn't make the connection. I didn't make the connection in my mind that, you know, it may be faster than me. It may be able to catch up with me. Right, let's take you out if we can. Yeah, I wonder the effect for Darkness Beckons, which if I remember correctly is an ability that can cause an instant knockout. The effect for it stays stationary even if you move, so I wonder if maybe you can avoid it just by like not being in the area of it, and thus never lose to it. Got another blowpipe. I don't know if those are good for anything other than making Swain's cool new gun that we haven't made for him yet, and which we may not make for him. I mean, we might as well make it, I guess. Sure. Very nice. It looks cool. It's a cool looking weapon. Just a little bit silly. But you know. But yeah, Marcus-san, I guess on account of being a wizard also, and sort of getting Oliver's hand-me-downs. But I guess also because he did get a pretty good weapon of his own. Marcus-san and Oliver are really the only party members who get, like, weapons that are particularly good. Which makes sense, as they're the only party members who really seem to be meant to do damage. Swain did okay damage in the past. I don't know if he can really... He's got kind of mediocre attack now, like even Oliver. I mean, I guess part of that is the fact that Oliver has a much stronger... just a much stronger weapon. But still. But yeah, we're still... Oh. We've just reached the point where some enemies are afraid of us, it seems like. They don't wanna see me pull up with the highwayman's handgun. Still though, I don't necessarily like our situation right now, so... Because yeah, like it plays the, or it displays the miss prompt when you miss, or when it's done that every time that I've not been in the area of it. But I don't know if, given, you know, it's an instant knockout, so presumably it's kind of relatively rare to actually activate. But yeah, the results of our research are inconclusive as of yet. Yeah, we're starting to get the upper hand, it looks like, in terms of abilities. So that's nice. Yeah, I did end up pretty over-leveled, it seems, towards the mid-game. I'm surprised that didn't really carry over through the, you know, the presumed endgame. Because yeah, I don't know if we've been, like, outmatched, or if we're just sort of, like, on a level playing field for the first time in a long time, so it feels like we've been outmatched. Results on that are also inconclusive, it would seem. Yeah, the White Witch certainly does not mess around. Certainly does not mess around when it comes to providing the best protection for her base of operations. Despite the fact that it has been completely and utterly inaccessible to, like, anyone for centuries. I should, like, defend a little bit, huh? Maybe heal a tad. Seems he had the same idea. But we have a much better action economy, so we will not lose. I am confident. Very nice, very nice.
We did it!
Yeah, I'm not getting a whole lot of experience from enemies nowadays, huh? Alright, we've got another robot hallway. Who will be the robot to challenge us? You will be.
Watch this!
I've been a little bit gung-ho, I realize. I've got like kind of, yeah, we're pretty low on MP on everybody. Which is probably not ideal. But we're just gonna live with it for now. Because I'm... maybe confident is the wrong word, but I'm willing to take this risk. And of course, all the wards in the world don't really mean anything if the Magivac Sentry is just going to punch us. He did refrain from punching us in that instance, though. Oops. There we go.
Nice work.
Very nice. Now, wouldn't it have been something if in this seemingly final hallway we had encountered a whole 2 Magimechs? Alright. It seems like we might just be at the culmination of our efforts. No particular reason for me scrolling all that far down. Alright.
Jeevers.
You are late, Oliver.
So you're...
Behold the overseers of the world's fate. The Zodiacs.
Hey guys.
So you shared a soul with the Dark Djinn. Know then that this world made him what he was. His despair was born of its rank imperfection. I gave him the chance to bring this world to an end. He failed. But I shall not. And yet
Well,
you would
neither
have us
shall I.
believe that this is a world worth saving. I should very much like to hear you argue that case. Come. Tell us what the world is worth.
It's worth fancy birds.
Come, boy. Let us hear what you have to say.
Can't have fancy birds without a world.
Oliver!
It's okay, P. It's all gonna be okay. This world is full of people doing their best to live their lives. It's their world, and I won't let you destroy it.
Those are bold words for a brat like you to utter.
This is the child the prophecies speak of? That Gallus would betray us for one so
We are the Council. Our decisions determine the fate of the world.
Not for much longer.
You're wrong. You're alone, Cassiopeia. You always have been.
They're gone.
Oh.
Are you alright?
What just happened?
It was something Gallus said. He said she was locked inside her own world.
You mean to say that entire council was a figment of her imagination?
Her magic was so strong, it turned her thoughts into reality.
Wait, hold on a second. Then what made the White Witch disappear?
Was she an illusion too?
No, the White Witch is real. And she's in there.
I was a bit worried I'd have to fight the whole council. But it seems that is not the case. Well, she already said she was late, so let's not keep her waiting any longer. Time has come to decide the fate of this world. I've made my decision. And it's a shame that she has made the wrong one. But she'll come out of this better, I'm sure. So, this is the White Witch's house, eh? Bit posh, isn't it? Good place for a final showdown, though. Proper epic. Yeah, I guess. I just wish we didn't have to fight. But we can't let Cassiopeia destroy the world again. Maybe we can still save her. Open the door to the throne room? Of course, of course.
How dare you! This is Her Radiance's inner sanctum. Did you not hear me? Be gone from here!
Apis. That is enough, as you have no doubt deduced. Apis was but another phantom created by my memory.
Oh no.
Yes, another illusion. How long has it been, P? How long since?
Cassiopeia! Why? Why do you have to destroy the world?
Because it is imperfect.
Gotta put on a break.
Imperfect like the human heart. Long ago, my own was consumed by the blackest despair. But then I discovered something on the furthest shores of solitude. I found true strength. Strength enough to remake the world.
But you didn't have to flipping go and use it, did you?
He's right. You're not the only person in the world.
The world might not be exactly how you want it, but that's no reason to just get rid of everyone. You can't do that. It's wrong.
It's wrong! It's wrong!
Silence!
No.
The world is mine to remake as I see fit, and none shall defy
Cassiopeia,
my will.
the White Witch.
Weak-hearted humans, I condemn you to suffer forever.
You will do no such thing.
The savior of this doomed world must die.
Well, let's lead with Mr. Smite and see... Oh no. For some reason I thought I was doing no damage. I'm not doing very much damage, but I guess I saw the 0 from the healing and I got concerned. So I guess we'll start the test. So she's not weak to, or she's not resistant to light, at least. She's resistant to physical damage. We should probably defend a little bit. She's probably not going to pull out her big guns just yet. But caution is good. Libinek, I can feel the White Witch's power from over by here, man. Make sure you dodge her spells, Ollie boy, or block them, or something. Don't even tell me twice. Oh, hold on, did she just throw out like a 3-stroke spell there? She is truly on some advanced level magic. I kind of want to see how Fortune's Fool treats us. But we'll save that for later, maybe. Oh dear. Alright, so Ward was definitely a good choice here. Definitely a good choice. I'm still not entirely convinced of your decision to use Napoleon in this particular instance, my friend, but I'm glad you're taking your own initiative, I suppose. You're trying. Experimenting to see what works and what doesn't. Napoleon does attack pretty fast, which would be useful if he did much damage with his attacks. Alright, everyone's defense is up again. So let's up everyone's defense again. Because yeah, that is the physical defense symbol, I think. And we want some magic defense also. Yeah, oh dear. Yeah, I don't think the difference between, in damage at least, between Mornstar and Evenstar is enough to justify casting Mornstar, or casting Evenstar. This was, perhaps a tactical... Oh, interesting. That cancelled my spell, but she's got something going on now. Oh dear. This is worrisome. But it could be worse. And it will get worse, maybe. Alright, alright. Let's ward again. Because we're pretty short of, we're pretty short of magic defense, it would seem. Ward doesn't last anywhere near as long as I hoped for and expected it to. I'd really appreciate it if you'd back up also. You're getting a little bit close for my comfort. Granted, your melee attacks don't do a lot of damage, so maybe if you could just, like, throw out some more of them. You're also not super accurate. Not necessarily a fist fighter, this Cassiopeia, it would seem. Nope, alright. Nice. Alright, let's... Oh, I'm still pretty low on HP, I guess. So I'll heal myself. I'm probably gonna get healed again. Yep. Probably could have optimized a little bit more for single target damage. Oh dear. I shouldn't have cancelled my defense that quickly. And now I'm going to pay for it. Alright, are we warded? I don't think we are. So I've got to fix that. This phase, and I'm sure this is a phase, this isn't the whole fight, I'm confident, but this phase is about to end, it looks like. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Oh, I was worried there. That we were all gonna hit with a full power falling star.
Very well.
Oh.
Huh? Where's this then?
Oliver, look!
Oh no, I've got a bad feeling about this. She's changing.
This is bad. Oh.
Cassiopeia, you can't destroy the world. I won't let you.
Cassiopeia, monster of mana. Alright, so yeah, so we're not at all restored in between fights. That makes a fair amount of sense. A test of endurance, as well as a test of power. Oh, she's got like 6 legs. Wow. Real messed up. Oh dear. Alright. We've got one more sandwich, which will be our MP and HP to all allies. Yes, that sandwich will be the difference between life and death, I'm sure. Oh dear. Yeah, this is the sort of occasion where it's hard to feel particularly bombastic and fighty, I suppose. Yeah, even with this final boss fight. You gotta feel sorry for her. I sure am playing a lot of games with, like, tragic final bosses, huh? Oops. Don't attack yourself, Oliver. Or don't attack on your own, Oliver. I'd really appreciate that. let's see if we can generate some more things, actually. Get some MP back that way. Oh, Nickers, there's something bad on the way, Ollie boy. Whatever you do, make sure you stop it. Alright, so what are we going to do to stop it, I wonder? Alright, that wasn't the worst thing in the world. I'd really appreciate that Glim if you would let me get it. Thank you. Oh no, no. There we go. Alright, good, good. Alright, okay, okay. Didn't need to heal there. They're back up to a more reasonable HP. Not terrible. Not terrible, to be sure. Yeah, the music really sells this boss fight, I feel like. Oh? Wait, what? I feel like Mr. Smite's not supposed to be here, right? I guess I never really saw what happens when a familiar ran out of stamina. I just thought that they'd automatically return to you. Alright, if that doesn't cancel this, I don't know what will. Oh dear. Yeah, definitely. We haven't fought a final boss yet that has been, you know, felt triumphant and not like I'm, you know, fighting someone who maybe, you know, doesn't necessarily deserve it. Well, this must be done. We do need to stop Cassiopeia from doing her horrible things and destroying the world. But, you know, it doesn't change the fact that not too happy about it, having to fight Cassiopeia here. Probably could have and should have defended against that. Alright, I managed to defend against that with Oliver at least. Alright, alright. Defend if you would be so kind. Don't want to see you all get hurt very bad. Oh! Oops, don't attack Oliver, please. Thanks. Yeah, we'll send out our good friend Gunther. Oh, okay. So yeah, we can just avoid heroin horns. I guess most of her abilities are seemingly mostly directional. Not unlike the oh dear. Not unlike the final phase of the Shadar fight. Ooh, that was a big hit on Esther. Not the biggest hit, but a big hit, nonetheless. You know, we do need to give it your all, give it your all, give it your all. What do we have for? Yeah, we've got a lot of coffee still. And we're going to need to use it quite liberally if we want to get everyone to a fairly high level of MP. Cassiopeia does seem to be primarily interested in harming Oliver, which I suppose makes a certain amount of sense, given her circumstances. Whoops. Divisions, please. Annihilation again. Yeah, we can sort of guide that attack by just sort of at least steer it away from our allies by drawing it towards ourselves. Very nice, very nice. I'm sure it's not over yet.
Our bravery is justly rewarded.
Oh?
No! Why? This world is imperfect.
It sure
Be
is.
destroyed so that a new one may begin.
No!
But who are you to say that you can make a perfect world?
Over. It may not be perfect, but nothing is. So you make the best of what you've got. When things go wrong, you have to try and make them right. And you have to keep on trying, no matter how hard it gets. That's what life is all about.
Life?
Even when you're all alone, you can't give up. Sooner or later, someone's sure to come along. I met P, didn't I? And she... well, she's a part of you.
Mm-hmm. And I met Oliver. Oliver, you're my friend.
No, P. Life's never perfect. It's always changing. Meetings, farewells, happy times, sad times. You take things as they come, and you keep on going. That's just how it is.
You're so kind, Oliver. But Oliver, don't be angry with Cassiopeia. She was so sad. She didn't know what to do. That's why I was born. But now you've made her better, and that means I don't have to look after her anymore.
Huh?
Oliver, I have to go now. Bye-bye. Thank you for everything, Oliver.
This must be...
The real Cassiopeia.
Pleased to make your acquaintance. I am Queen Cassiopeia, as I was long ago. I will be forever in your debt. You have restored me to my true self. I heard your words, and now I can begin to live again. Thank you, Oliver.
Oh? Oh, I knew it wasn't over.
What's going on?
Oh, we do have to fight the council.
The Zodiacs? But didn't you just imagine them?
No, this has nothing to do with me. Can they have become real?
That is correct. We have slipped the rings of your magic.
Ready, cheek? Get back in her head, you rotters!
Is this a declaration of independence?
This is all my fault. Run from here.
No way! We're staying right here. You don't have to do this alone. We can defeat the Zodiarchs together.
Mm-hmm. You can deal with them. The Zodiarch, the Council Corrupted. Yeah, I was gonna say, if you can deal with them, Cassiopeia, we can all deal with them much better. Did everyone get a rest? Yeah, everyone's back up to full. Very nice. I don't like the look of this. Especially since I'm not defending. Oh, Cassiopeia's here. Is everyone alright? I'm sorry. I must not allow them the time to use such attacks. Help her out, Jolly Boy. You've got to hit them before they can hit you, isn't it? I'm still not entirely sure I understand the mechanic behind doing so, but I'll do my best. Very nice. Even Star is a really good spell for this, actually. Oh, okay. I like the sound of that. Alright, Oliver, stop defending, start attacking. Now's the perfect time. Oh. Alright, so these little fellas are kind of troubling. They have the powerful beams that we came to fear from the Magimechs. They also don't readily get knocked around, which is somewhat of an issue. Yeah, I love how this really is this is a team effort between all of us. We're all working together to defeat the Zodiarchy. This really is essentially just a nightmare of this is her nightmare, I guess. Alright, time to bring the gang all together again. But man, Even Star does a lot more damage than that, actually, so maybe we should just keep doing that. Okay, she is next. Or, well, they are next, I suppose. This is the council, after all. I guess Even Star doesn't do all that much more damage. Yeah, especially not now that I look at the MP cost of it. It's actually... yeah, this isn't super efficient. Alright, that's the satellites down. I'm sure they'll come back up at some point. But for the time being, we'll have a little snack. Or we'll have a little sip as Oliver. We'll have a big sip as Oliver. And also as Tiberious Vanderfield. Sip. The somewhat questionable tactic of the final boss sip. Ooh. Maybe trying to get psyched up there was not the most optimal. Alright, everyone's in a really bad way, so... let's take this opportunity to make everyone be in not such a bad way. Actually, you know, we don't need full HP and healing to everyone just yet. And honestly, we don't even need full HP and healing. This should be fine. Not everyone needed it. At least not everyone needed it to the same degree. That wasn't Mornstar missing, I hope. Yeah, and here I was going on about not having fought and then a final boss that felt like they deserved to be fought. Now I've got the Council, who are jerks. Very good, very good. Take a big sip for Oliver. We're out of big sips for Oliver. And we only got about, only about 2 Mornstars per big sip. So we're gonna have to start taking medium sips. Oh, there's the satellites again. Alright, I don't like them. So maybe it's time, well, no, we'll exhaust our MP before we fully restore it. Yeah, it looks like I really didn't need to optimize for single target DPS, considering circumstances. But yes, having multi-target DPS has served me pretty well. So let's devastate them. I wonder, are we supposed to just... Ooh. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh, is Esther down again already? Or did she never get back up? This is really bad, actually. Oh no, Esther's back up. I guess she must have gotten back up. Alright, this is the good time to use... it would have been a good time to use that. That's unfortunate. And we have to fight, we have to fight all that again.
This is her radiance's...
Which I'm not super big on, I must say.
The savior of this doomed world must die!
Yeah, I'm still not sure how we're supposed to, like, cancel attacks, to be totally honest with you. Right, I forgot. I forgot that she's resistant to physical damage. Yep. We're gonna be careful. No, in theory. I just realized the consumables that we consumed have probably remained consumed now. Given that losing a fight and continuing puts you in roughly the same state as you were, sort of, you know, during that fight, just with all your HP and MP back. Whoops. Don't defend. You're fine. Ooh, big damage on Anstonio again. Very unfortunate. I guess it's not all that rare for MP to do significant damage to him. Or magic to do significant damage to him. But still. Probably should have defended a little bit earlier there. Yeah. Oh dear. But we get what we're working with here. So we're going to be more ready for the rest of the fight. Yeah, I do have to wonder what is the most effective or most efficient, like, multi-target damage we have, I wonder. Yeah, it definitely doesn't seem... Again, unless I'm just missing something, which I could be. Honestly, I feel like that's pretty likely. But unless I'm just missing something, it doesn't seem like I can really meaningfully, like, prevent her from doing those big moves. Alright. So we're gonna go into the next phase of the fight with pretty low health.
Just as the prophecy foretold.
Which I'm not super big on, I think. Yeah, low HP, very low HP. So, we gotta fix that real quick. And I do mean real quick, so I'm willing to splurge a little bit on that. This phase of the fight isn't super very bad. It's definitely not ideal. But we've had worse fights, I think. Yeah, what's our provision situation? Worse than it was before, I imagine it must be. Oh no! Alright, we keep our provisions. Wait. So, no, yeah. I guess it must reset you to the state you were in before the fight started, I guess. Which makes sense, because your fate doesn't, or your state doesn't really change a whole lot before the fight ends. I don't know if what I said just made sense to anyone else. It didn't make much sense to me. Alright, yeah. Okay, that didn't even hit Oliver, actually. Alright, I would love to stop this, but I don't know how. Is this anything? I'll take that. Yeah, so it worked on the Khalifa. It does not work on Cassiopeia's second form here. And I guess final form, perhaps. Can I get that Glim? Yes, I can. Nice. Because yeah, like, unless there's another spell I can use to disrupt her in some way. Because I don't, at least, have anything that can nix her, I don't think. Yeah, I should be warding, shouldn't I? And I definitely should have gone and taken the time to get some more strong coffee. Oops. What's she doing now? Ah, the horns. Not a terrible attack. Oh! So I guess it was just as simple as hitting her. Okay. So yeah, attack enemies with like physical attacks sometimes. It works. Like it accomplishes goals. I'd gotten so used to seeing big numbers whenever I used spells at Oliver that I just sort of assumed that everything else that I could do as him was sort of secondary at best. And dangerously unoptimal at worst. Granted, it definitely seems like not everything can be interrupted. Just her biggest attacks, perhaps. Alright, Wrathful Rush is not a terrible move. At least it's not terrible for us. Mr. Smite is still serving us well after all this time. Alright, that was ill-conceived, I think. I got a bit reckless, I must admit. Alright, I will take that win with pleasure. But yeah, we're still learning a lot, even in this final bout. Well, not final bout, I guess. I guess we could consider this the second part of the final battle, rather than the battle before the final battle, as I sort of was thinking about it just a second ago. Ooh, I don't like Esther's current HP. Maybe we should be using this more, actually, to improve everyone a bit. Actually, now that I think about it, we got an item that can, like, I think the description said that it, like, could improve the healing heart. I wonder if maybe we should, like, oh wow, Puncher does a lot of damage. I mean, that's nothing new, I guess, but, like, also, man, we should be using, like, Puncher more. Because when Puncher decides to deal the damage, he really deals the damage. Oh dear. I figured that would skip the cutscene. It did not. It did not skip the cutscene. Yeah, so maybe we could have better stats on Esther right now. Not that we need them, broadly speaking. Maybe I should have punched her, as we established earlier, is a not terrible tactic. Sip and possibly rip. Nope, we're good. Everyone is not alright. Everyone is not alright, I must say. Alright, alright. Oops. Alright. Alright, very important that we immediately heal, like, a lot. We've got a lot of these right here, so we should use them. Next. Very good. I'm still, yeah, not 100% sure how the damage calculation sort of shakes out with all this. What's the most efficient and whatnot. I wonder if these satellites are weak to anything. Such as being punched. Ooh. They're not that weak to being punched, it seems like. And we are, well actually no, I think they must be. They must be. I think I saw like a appropriate. Oh, no. Because yeah, they didn't take extra damage from this. Unless they're just like resistant to tricks. Specifically, which sounds odd. So maybe they just did damage of a type that we were weak to? Or something? I'm not entirely sure what that interaction was. The numbers can be a bit hard to read sometimes. Or a bit hard to interpret, rather. Alright, Esther, I want her to stay up, and she's not in a situation where she can aid herself. Oh, they're attacking Cassiopeia. Oh no. Well, I didn't mean to send out... Nope. Nope. No, stop. Please. Alright, he's really determined to throw those rocks. Okay, throw multiple rocks. Different rocks, thank you. I don't know that Cassiopeia can, like, get knocked out. It seems that she can be targeted, and I think I saw that she could be healed. Or at least I tried to heal her at one point, and I don't know if it did anything. Or, I didn't try to heal her. I used a full party heal, and she displayed a 0, implying that she has health that we just can't see. Yeah, so there's definitely a chance to counter her there. But while we have the satellites running around, I really don't feel super comfortable in doing that. So hopefully that just interrupted the attack that one of them was doing at me. It took one of them out. I don't know if that was the one that was attacking me. Alright, please, the satellites are really killer.
If I may.
Oh, well, maybe I didn't need to do that. Can we... I don't know that this is going to be especially helpful, but we can certainly try it. No effect. Okay, so we can't nix them. That is purely a Cassiopeia trick. Cassiopeia definitely doesn't look like she's in a great state right now, so maybe we should heal her? I don't know that we... Yeah, we definitely can't heal her manually. So I'm not entirely sure what we're meant to do about all this, necessarily. Okay, okay. So yes, do attack the boss with physical attacks. I feel like that's maybe what we've been missing for a long time. Hold on. Jules isn't healing when he attacks. Did I unequip Jules without noticing? At least of his sword? That kind of stings. Well, no wonder he's been sending out Napoleon to attack. Yikes. Alright. Well, we've got Arrow of Light at least. Yeah, we really might as well just hit her with our with our melee attacks on yeah, the prophecy that I never wanted to come true. That Marcus-san would in fact deal more damage with his physical attacks than his personal physical attacks than his familiars do. Has come true. At long, terrible last, it has come true. Okay, Cassiopeia can definitely be targeted. Which is a frightening proposition. Is Esther down again? Why is Esther down again? Surely she hasn't gotten hit again, yeah? Oh dear. Alright, one of us is just getting up, one of us is asleep, one of us can't defend, because I was in the middle of attacking. So this is going to be bad. Not game ending bad. Or at least not this fight ending bad. Thank you so much, Drippy. Because yeah, the fight is getting a bit out of hand right now. I had been hoping that Chaos would do less damage the fewer satellites the Zodiacs had out. But it seems that is absolutely not the case. Alright, Esther's still in a bad way, completely unconscious on the floor. So let's wake her up. Maybe that wasn't necessary per se, given that she was about to get rezzed anyway. But, you know. Oh well. Alright, Oliver, I'd appreciate it if you would start laying the DPS down as well. Because this is hard. We are having a rough time. Actually, Esther, don't you have something that can improve magic attack? You've got a damage attack, I guess. Evasion, health, defense, I guess. We could use defense. What you gonna do? Oh dear. Okay, she's not using chaos at least, so it could be worse. Oliver's... Okay, everyone's either stunned or unconscious. I'm really worried as to why... Oh, we already did that. Oh, this is chaos, isn't it? Alright, so we've got two people trying to res Oliver. We've got a person healing, and we've got a big damage spell that's going to hit everyone and knock everyone out, unfortunately. Jeez. Alright, so maybe we need to go back to the drawing board a little bit. I mean... It is getting late. Yeah. Yeah, we've got to wrap it up for tonight, I think. I guess we might as well, oh dear. Might as well do it here. That's a little bit disappointing, I've got to say. So, well, let's not leave it on, let's not leave things off on a sad note. Just gotta shake it off and we'll get back to it. I guess we must have to, like, hit the boss with, like, physical attacks to, get her to stop. So, yeah, we really... get them to stop. It's the Zodiac, not Cassiopeia. Yeah, because, like, this whole game, you know, we've had the counter mechanic, and I just never really thought much of it. I assumed, yeah, from, you know, all the times that we've had to use specific spells to counter enemy or prevent enemies from doing big attacks, I assumed that we had to do more of the same. Or at the very least, it was just a matter of the amount of damage that you did. But no, actually. It turns out, like, you do have to use, like, certain types of things for different situations. It feels weird to see like that like the way to counter the chaos attack is to just use basic attacks, given the scope and scale of the attack. But I guess it is... yeah, I don't know. I'm still not sure if that's actually the case, because we haven't had the chance to test that, per se. But yeah. So, and also, I guess just sort of another observation, I'd been thinking that the chaos attack did damage based on the number of satellites that were in the battle, but that recent attempt, when there was only one, they did chaos when there was only one satellite up, and it still did roughly the same amount of damage as per usual. That pretty squarely proves in my mind that, yeah, that is not the case. It is purely just, you know, it does damage, even with the satellite orbs hovering around. It's just damage. It's just damage. I guess, real quick, I'm gonna double check, since I've still got the game open. Do I still? No, I didn't take Jules' sword off of him. So I don't know why he's not healing from his attacks. But, oh well. Yeah, I guess, yeah, that doesn't seem like that does damage of any particular type, at least not of any type that any of us resist. And given that we resist basically every type, that's at least on Jules. Either it's dark damage or it's physical damage, which is very interesting. But yes. So there's a lot to think about, I guess. A lot to consider in this boss battle. But we're not going to worry about that too much right now, because we've got to wrap things up, and we've got to raid as well. So, schedule. Tomorrow, we'll be playing some more Noita. Thursday, nope, yes, Thursday is tomorrow. Got that mixed up. Alright, yeah, Thursday's tomorrow. I forgot what day it was for a moment. So shocked am I by our repeated losses against the final boss. It's been challenging. It's been challenging. And, yeah, it is the first time in a long time that we've, you know, been seemingly roughly on level with the enemies in the area that we've been in, with all the side questing that I had been doing. So that's probably to blame for a significant portion of it. But we'll try again. I know I said that if we got a game over, I'd leave and, like, you know, prepare a little bit better. But I don't want to do that, because I feel like we're very close to being good. So instead, we won't do that. At least not yet. If I really don't do very well, then we'll change things up a little bit. But I guess we really don't need to continue either, because we're not like gaining experience or anything and leveling up from these battles. So we might as well just, you know, reload. But anyway, so tomorrow, Noita. Friday, Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch Remastered, because we weren't able to, we couldn't hack it today, despite our best efforts. So, I think probably for the sake of anyone joining, I will, you know, play all those cutscenes again, even though we have seen them. Next time we are in Ni no Kuni. But yeah. So, I'm, like, assuming that Friday doesn't go really, really bad. Assuming it doesn't go really, really bad, I'm going to assume that we won't be playing Ni no Kuni next week. So, I don't know what that's necessarily going to mean, but that's what it's mainly probably going to mean is that we're probably not going to be playing a whole lot during next week. I'm gonna take at least 2 days off, maybe 3. But we'll definitely be playing on Friday, so we can continue the collab with Altariana, Sheppy Sheps, and Judo Kami. Of course, of course. Other than that, I can't guarantee anything. But yes, so that all out of the way. Let's see. Thursday. On Thursday, we will be streaming at what's the time? 7:30 p.m. 7:30 p.m. Central Time. And on Friday, we will be streaming at 10 a.m. Central Time. We might. Part of me wants to get started earlier because I do also need to get to work early. Actually, if I go in especially early on Thursday, I could probably avoid going in early on Friday. That's something to consider. I don't know. So maybe we might start early on Friday, just so that we can ensure that we have time to face our trials. But yes, so the usual wrap up. If anyone has any suggestions for a raid target, I am glad to hear them. If not, I will raid, I guess. I will find someone and I will direct the raid to them. Sit. So yes, this has been quite a challenging final boss. But yes, I thank you for sticking with me during this trying time. And yeah, it looks like we don't have any takers. So I think we're going to raid Judo Kami. But yes, businessman VTuber, collaborator, friend of mine. Good streams. Good streams. You will have to make sure that you are have your Twitch verified and all that. You know, they're taking precautions with all of the hate raids and all that recently. But yeah, I hope you'll all enjoy the stream. And yeah, raid messages as always. We have arrived. Thank you for joining tonight. I hope you have had a fine night. I hope that you will continue to have a fine night. And I hope that you will do well until next time I see you. So, thank you all for being here. And let us get this raid underway.